Good morning, true believers. This is BUB'S Comics coming at you. I have not a comic haul, although I do have one new comic to show you. This is actually going to be my submission to CGC, so I'm getting a quick 5-book submission together and sending them off to CGC to get graded. And I'll tell you kind of what plan I'm going with and the pricing tier and stuff like that and what I expect. So first up, let's make me small and show the new book that I picked up, and the reason why I'm finally sending these in, which is funny because I've been wanting to send these in for a minute, but just haven't got around to it. Waiting for the turnaround times to come down, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Look at this, Planet Comics number 41. Super huge deal to get this book. Wait, when I show it, I have to show it like this. There you go. Cover that one bad spot. Planet Comics 41. Cool Medusa cover. You got a robot on there. You got, I guess, bondage. She's being held by the feet, and her hair is nailed down to the table. And look at all the snakes, right? Snakes out of the basket. And they're the same snakes that's on this lady's head. And she's gonna she's got like a scalpel. She's probably going to do a hair transplant and make this lady a Medusa too. That would be my guess. But doesn't that look fantastic? This book is very difficult to get. Again, similar to a few other books I've picked up this past year, it's on my list of pay-up books. A book that you're just going to have to pay up for. You're not going to find it cheap. I keep waiting and waiting for it to come up affordably, and it won't come up affordably, so you're just going to have to pay up. If you're trying to complete a run like I am, then at some point you're just going to have to say, you know what? I can't complete this run unless I have this book, and that book's going to cost me more than the other, so just go ahead and buy it and pay up for it. But that's not what happened this time. So I ended up getting that book for a ridiculously low price. It's amazing. I've paid less for this book than I have for some of the much more readily available books in this run. So Planet Comics 41, huge deal to pick that book up for me, especially this early on. I thought I was going to have to wait quite a while to find an affordable copy, but after just a few short years of hoping and wishing and not overpaying for other books, I was able to secure a beautiful copy. Yes, it has that tear off piece, and yes, it's been worked on by me, but let me tell you, just to have the cover, I paid less for this than I would have paid for the cover alone. A couple of years ago, I almost bought just the cover, and it was going to be more than the full book. So there you go. Okay, so on to the submission. CGC, I'm sending in 5 books. This is one of them. They're all going to be Planet Comics, so if you're not into Golden Age or Atomic Age or whatever and you want to turn off now, then go ahead. But here's Planet Comics number 16. I estimate that this is going to be probably a 0.5. It is complete, but boy, with the accumulation of defects, a 1.0 would be a dream, but I do think it'll be a blue label 0.5. This will be probably, I think this it'll probably get a 0.5 also. I think it's missing a centerfold wrap, so a lot of these are going to be a little bit incomplete. Next one we have is Planet Comics number 21, and this one I suspect it's going to be probably a 0.5 as well, because it actually has a panel inside that someone cut out and then replaced with a hand-drawn panel. It's hilarious. So now these have all been cleaned as best I could, because you got to be super careful with these. And so these have all been cleaned, repaired if need be, and pressed. So this one is Planet Comics 49. This one had a full spine split and cover detached. So the cover's been reattached and the spine split's been sealed. However, it'll probably still get pretty low grade. It is complete, so I'd say we'll just go ahead and say these are all 0.5 except for this last one. So we'll see how this goes. Planet Comics 49, another one of my favorite covers. Look at that. I love when they mislabel things. So that's Aurora, Lord of Jupiter, I think it says. Yeah, Lord of Jupiter in Werewolves from Hydra Hell. So that's a werewolf. So I love when they do that kind of stuff. Look at the suckers on her fingers. she's blasting through, and that guy's freaking out. Ah! So great stuff. Now this book I'm particularly proud of. Another one that I got for far less than I should have this year, and was happy to do so. Planet Comics number 56. So this is the last book I'm sending into CGC, and this one had a pretty gnarly spine roll. So you can see I fixed that out completely, and needed some tape seals on the interior cover, but the cover was attached. That's key. It didn't have any other damage. And even though the color is slightly faded, because for this book, it's actually hard to get that rich black in there. So it's nice to get all that black. And this is normally yellow anyway. So it's only missing a little bit of color. It's actually not missing as much as it may seem. But for this book, you know, they don't charge. CGC doesn't ding you too bad for fading covers. So I don't know. I think this book has an off chance of being maybe a 2. So a very off chance. So, and a blue label. So it'll definitely be a blue label, but I think it might be a 2. So we'll see what we get on these. So my goal for this year is to crack the top 20 on the CGC registry. I know it's a vanity thing and it doesn't really mean anything. But if you're going for a particular run or a particular thing that's very difficult to obtain like this is, I don't know anyone in the collecting community that has a complete run of this book, of this title. And the ones that are even close or perhaps do have a complete run, you know, because not all of them are on the registry, of course, they're in the top of collectors for this group, and I'd like to be up there. So I don't personally know anybody, but if you look in the registry, there's a couple of complete runs, and I'd like to be up there with those guys. It's a low grade run, so it's not going to be as high a point system, because the way the registry works is they assign points based on the grade of the book and the label color, and then also the age. So the older the book is, with the better condition, those books get the most points, and then you tally those points up. So and then you get ranked. So right now I'm 35th on the as of the recording of this video. I'm 35th. I'm gonna send these off, and I'm trying to crack the top 20 this year. I may be able to do it with this submission with a little bit of help of some grading, and if not, then it'll probably be at least one more submission away. There's 73 books in this run. I have 35, but on the registry right now, I only probably have about 4. So my goal is to get them all graded with CGC so that they can all be on the registry, and then see kind of where I land. At 35, I've got a little ways to go, but I should be able to jump pretty good with this submission of books. You don't see that kind of change very often, where people just all of a sudden have 5 more. So they're going to see me hit a splash on there, and we'll see if that generates any buzz. So looking forward to this. I am submitting them under the value tier. I think, realistically speaking, the maximum value that you're allowed to put in is $200 per book. I think this one is definitely close. It might, depending on the grade. That's the thing. In condition wise, these are each probably about $200 in condition. But as far as availability, they get more difficult to find, So, but I think it's an appropriate tier for them. I'm putting it through the value tier, with which is the lowest tier. But of course, it's like 87-day turnaround, which is ridiculous, and I don't think that they're going to change it. I think over the last few months, I think they've resolved to leave it that high turnaround time on purpose. I think that they want to draw people to the other grading tiers that have faster turnaround times. There's really no excuse for anything to arrive at a business for services and wait there for 6 months. So, but it looks like that's what they're doing with that tier. But I'm a little bit impatient for that as well. I'm sure they know that most people are going to be. So they have a fast track. So for $10 extra, or if you have the membership, it's $9 extra. Then you end up getting them sent off and back to you within like 28 days, which is the fastest you can get anything back for that price. I think the regular submission is like $24, and then you add the $9, like $33 to send in one of these books, and you get it back in 28 days. You can do the economy, which is $34, and its turnaround time is 35 days. So I mean, you do the math. You get it back a week sooner, and you save $1. As long as your book isn't valued over $200, you should be in good shape. I can tell you these books are close. Like, as far as finding them again for under $200, that would be tough. But I think realistically, in these conditions, they're about that. And of course, I also have insurance and things on my collection, so shouldn't be too much an issue. So that's what we're doing. Here's hoping for 20, for cracking the top 20. We're going to be looking at these soon. Again, hopefully in less than 2 months. I figure somewhere around the first week of April, we should be getting these back. So we'll keep you posted. We're looking forward to it. So remember to be back again, read a comic, and don't apologize for the glare. Bye-bye.